complaint against the New Mexico mom, and she was convicted of creating a public nuisance. Russian hackers. In June of 2016, a gang of hackers from Russia were using malware to steal money from people's computers, totaling over $25 million. They used a malicious Trojan called Lurk to steal cash from people's bank accounts, steal login names and passwords, and gain remote access to people's computers. The group was eventually caught and arrested thanks to a series of raids by the Russian government. Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier. In 2014, two 12-year-old girls named Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier went to a local park with their friend Peyton and proceeded to stab her 19 times. Why? To prove the existence and win the approval of a fictional creature named Slender Man, whose existence and lore was all created on the internet. After stabbing their friend, the girls left her in the woods to go in search of Slender Man's mansion, which they read online was nearby. The girls were found guilty, and Morgan ended up getting committed for schizophrenia. These girls need to be banned from the internet for not only believing everything they read, but for willing to make a sacrifice for a fictional being. Ebony Dickens. Ebony Dickens is a prime example of the idea that if you don't have something nice to say, then you probably shouldn't say it at all. In April of 2015, Ebony was arrested for her hate-filled Facebook post that said, "Death to all white cops nationwide," and "I condone black-on-white killings." She originally posted under the name Tiffany Milan, but the average Joe should know that when it comes to threats, the government will find you. Ebony was arrested on terror-related charges. Aiden C. In 2012, Amanda Todd committed suicide at the age of 15 after a cyberbully harassed her by exposing and distributing topless photos of her around the internet. The cyberbully was identified as Aiden C. from the Netherlands, and he was arrested for blackmailing dozens of women from the United States to Great Britain into performing sex acts on webcam. The 38-year-old cyberbully was charged with internet luring, extortion, and child pornography. Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos is a Greek-British journalist and a tech editor for the conservative news and opinion website Breitbart. He is also known for being a bit of an internet troll as well. Milo was permanently suspended from Twitter for targeting Ghostbusters star Leslie Jones in July of 2016. The bullying and hurtful tweets encouraged his following of over 380,000 to harass Leslie as well. He tried to defend himself, saying that he was exercising his freedom of speech, but his harassment was also a violation of Twitter's rules when it comes to targeting specific users. Looks like he'll have to go someplace else to express his opinion. Brownfield teen. In 2016, a 13-year-old girl made claims that she was being bullied from several social media accounts. She claimed she was being stalked and sent death threats from these accounts and that she feared for her life. The threats initially seemed to be anonymous, however, after police got involved and traced the IP addresses, it was discovered that the girl was making the threats against herself, and the complaints were a total hoax. The teen was arrested for filing a false police report and making false accusations. Michael Robert Garrissey. 36-year-old Michael Robert Garrissey would often entertain in local parades and children's parties dressing up as various movie characters. He also used the internet to promote his business and communicate with kids. In June of 2016, Garrissey was arrested for soliciting sex from a 14-year-old girl that he had met online through social media. He had engaged in long conversations, blatantly arranging to have sex with the teenager. But what Garrissey didn't know was that the 14-year-old girl he was talking to online was actually a cop, and that he was about to get caught in a major pedophile sting operation. Ardit Farizi. 20-year-old Ardit Farizi is a terrorist hacker who was admitted to stealing the personal information of thousands of United States military members and federal employees in 2015. He hacked into an American retailer's database and passed the information along to the Islamic State terrorist group, ISIS, for the purpose of creating a hit list. That hit list was to be used to attack and kill the people on it and their families to spread the message of terror. Originally from Kosovo, Farizi was eventually caught and arrested in Malaysia. If convicted, he could face up to 35 years in prison. Please take a moment to do something nice online today, and please be good to one another. Thanks for watching. Having the title of nerd used to have a negative connotation, but these days being a nerd is considered to be the hottest ticket in Hollywood. Just because one is a nerd, that doesn't mean they can't be sexy. Here is part 2 of nerdy characters who are actually hot. Shannon Purser. Shannon Purser played the ill-fated nerdy character of Barbara in Netflix's hit 80s theme show Stranger Things. Not to give away any spoilers, but Barb isn't quite the popular person on the show, and she ends up having an out-of-this-world experience. While Shannon looks and acts like a goody two-shoes on the show, she is actually quite stunning in real life when given the modern treatment. Tatiana Maslany. Tatiana Maslany is the star of the hit show Orphan Black, who not only plays the role of Sarah Manning, but also her clones. One of her clones, Casima, is a PhD student studying experimental evolutionary development biology at the University of Minnesota. To better portray the character, Maslany has to put on glasses and up her nerd game in order to be convincing. But in real life, Tatiana is far from nerdy and shows off her sexiness by being able to change her appearance and play an impressive array of different characters. Jenna Fischer. Jenna Fischer played the frumpy and plain receptionist Pam Beasley in the critically acclaimed show The Office. While being frumpy doesn't necessarily make you a nerd, Pam's desperation to find joy in her job led her to start pointless projects in the office like folding paper birds. In her true form, Jenna Fischer is quite beautiful and nearly unrecognizable when she throws on some makeup, does her hair, and puts on some stylish clothing. Jaleel White. Jaleel White is best known for playing the extremely nerdy role of Steve Urkel in the classic television show Family Matters. Jaleel played the role so well that Urkel became the standard when it came to nerdism. While wearing large glasses, suspenders, and mismatched clothing, no one ever thought that there was a hot side to Urkel. But when he created a machine that would inject him with cool juice and transform him into the hot Stefan Urkel, the world got to see the sexy side of Steve. Despite having his past role of Urkel following him around for years after his career, Jaleel White is proof that a change in voice and stylish clothing can make the nerdiest person irresistibly hot. Renee Felice Smith. Renee Felice Smith plays Nell Jones on NCIS Los Angeles, and she is the epitome of nerdy on the show. Her character has the highest IQ on the show as she helps the team solve crimes as an analyst. Nell is endearingly nerdy, but when Renee is just herself, she is incredibly hot and sexy. Renee also helped make the pixie cut a trend again. John Heder. We were first introduced to John Heder as the ultimate nerd, Napoleon Dynamite, with afro-like blonde hair, glasses, buck teeth, and a Vote for Pedro shirt. His acting was so convincing that it was kind of hard to imagine that the real John Heder wasn't anything like the character. But take all of that away and you end up with a guy who is incredibly good-looking. Polly Perrette. Polly Perrette plays forensic scientist Abby on the hit show NCIS. She is a gothic girl who knows a lot about all kinds of science, which makes her one of the nerdiest characters in television history. In real life, Polly actually studied criminal science and was about to start her graduate studies in the field before diving into the entertainment industry. She is the prime example that you can be smart, nerdy, and very sexy. Melissa Fumero. Melissa Fumero plays Amy Santiago on the hilarious show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She is extremely uptight, nerdy, and completely focused on her work. As she goes through her journey of trying to impress Captain Holt and getting excited over office supplies, she has shown that the character is able to be both hot and smart. When she's not donning a police uniform or a business suit, Melissa has got the stuff to make anyone swoon. Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini is known for playing Velma in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Velma is the epitome of nerdiness both in animation and reality. Velma is extremely smart and oftentimes helps the gang out by solving their paranormal mysteries. But don't let the hairstyle, glasses, and frumpy clothes fool you. Linda is quite hot and brings a new level of sexiness to Velma. Emily Deschanel. Emily Deschanel has been starring as Dr. Temperance Brennan in the series Bones since 2005, and she may very well be the hottest nerd on TV. Though she plays a brilliant scientist who sometimes struggles with social interactions, it isn't a struggle to see just how hot Emily is in real life. Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza is best known for her role as April Ludgate on the series Parks and Recreation. She started out as an apathetic intern who had a knack for deadpan-style comedy and sarcasm. Her awkwardness and weirdness may have been apparent on the show, but in real life, Aubrey is nothing short of sexy. Which of these hot nerds are your favorites? Did we forget any? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to The Richest for more amazing videos daily. Stay nerdy, and thanks for watching. We often think of child stars as adorable and innocent, blissfully unaware of the dark side of Hollywood. It's usually not until they hit adulthood that we see the consequences of the spotlight. Here are 10 child celebrities ruined by fame. Jodie Sweetin. The world knows Jodie Sweetin from her time as the adorable Stephanie Tanner on the hit show Full House. When the show ended after 8 seasons, Jodie started drinking at the age of 13, and soon after got addicted to drugs like meth, ecstasy, and crack cocaine. She was also married 3 times and admitted that she struggled with her identity. In 2016, she reprised her role as Stephanie Tanner in Fuller House on Netflix and has written a memoir about her struggles after Full House went off the air. Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman was one of the most famous child stars for his role as Arnold Jackson in Different Strokes in the 70s and 80s, with his iconic line, "What you talking about, Willis?" However, Coleman's parents were stealing the money he was earning from the show, and after it went off the air, Coleman was dealing with addictions to various drugs and alcohol. He also suffered from depression and made numerous suicide attempts. He got charged with disorderly conduct after a fight with his wife, and on another occasion, he punched a female fan in the face. Tragically, at the age of 42, Coleman died of a brain hemorrhage. Jeremy Jackson. Jeremy Jackson is best known for playing the role of Hobie Buchanan on the hit series Baywatch, a role that he actually won over famed star Leonardo DiCaprio. However, during his 9-year stint on the show, young Jeremy developed a drug and alcohol problem. In 2000, he checked himself into rehab and was released clean and sober until he was treated for a steroid addiction in 2011. But 2015 turned into a dark year for Jackson. In early 2015, he was accused of attempting to murder his ex-wife. Then, in April 2015, he was accused of stabbing a man multiple times. Then, in October of that same year, he was charged with stabbing a woman at her Los Angeles home. Jamie Foxworth. Jamie Foxworth thought she had found lasting fame when she was cast in the hit 90s show Family Matters for the first 4 seasons, starring as the Winslow's youngest daughter. However, due to the character of Steve Urkel getting bumped up as a series regular, along with budget cuts, Jamie's character was written off the show and her character disappeared with no explanation. Jamie struggled to find work after losing her job, eventually resorting to the porn industry and leading a life of substance abuse problems. Edward Furlong. You probably remember Edward Furlong best for his role as John Connor in Terminator 2: Judgment